The oldest full-length feature film was not from France, not from the UK, not from Hollywood here in the USA. It was from Australia. Can you believe that? The first full-length feature film. So a couple people have commented this recently, and I had to look into it. So this is the story of the Kelly Gang crime drama, 1906. And Elizabeth Tate, John Tate, and Norman Campbell. Video, we're not going to watch the whole thing. I'll explain this in a second. This comes from Vabov Duby. I know I'm saying that wrong, but this will be linked down below if you would like to check it out further. This is more of just kind of a highlight and just kind of looking at and reacting to just a little bit of this just to see. Because I'm someone who's fascinated not only with different cultures and stuff like that, but I'm fascinated by different time periods as well. And obviously, I would have loved to live through like the 60s, the 70s, even the 80s. They really seem fun to me. But then if we go back further, it's even more mind-blowing. Like, think about the early 1900s, the turn of that century. Can you believe that the first full-length feature film came out in Australia in 1906? That's pretty impressive. I've always heard that they did have movies as early as like the 1880s, I want to say. But when I say movies, let me take that back. They had pieces of film, and I'm talking about 1 or 2 reels. So they weren't what you think of as a movie or a full-length feature film. They were just these little experiments, very, very minimal and short featured reels that came about in random times and areas between 1880s and, of course, the early 1900s. Let's get to it. I think I saw that right here, that this original 1906 film, filmed in and taking place in Australia, was an hour or so in length, so that's pretty long considering they just didn't have anything like this at the time. And the sad part is I don't know the whole story, but only half of it, or less than half, survived. So we can only view a little bit of the movie here, and I'm not going to even view that. You can watch this on your own time. Like I said, I have it linked. I am going to watch it probably in my own time as well, but I don't want to do a whole 30-minute reaction to this right now. I just want to react to bits and pieces, just to say that I got to see part of the first full-length feature film, and it's so cool that it's from Australia, and just see like what they're wearing, you know, what everything looks like, see how the film quality looks. Obviously, there's not going to be any sound. You know, that was not a thing. And then we'll cap it up with reading a little bit more about it. So as you can see, the introduction, the 1906 film, the story of the Kelly Gang, is believed to have been 1 hour in length. Only fragments are known to survive, 296 meters or 971 feet, which totals almost 15 minutes screen time when projected at 18 frames per second. So yeah, that's a shame. About a quarter of it left. And by the way, I know this is about the Ned Kelly era here, and that is going to be its own thing. I do want to learn about him. I want to learn about that whole story and dedicated videos to Ned Kelly, so this isn't that. If you want to leave me links to a good Ned Kelly video that I should learn about, please do that down below. But yeah, that will be its own thing. This isn't that. I'm not going to try and learn about him right now. So as we can see, we're going to get our first preview of a scene here. Look it straight away. I mean, wow. This is, I believe, around the Melbourne area. Beautiful rolling hills we can see. And look at these. I mean, just look at everything. Look at this old barrel. Look at the buildings here, the fence, and the outfits. Wow. This is a long time ago. And to think, kind of a weird note, but it's something to note, like to think that everyone you would see in a film this old, everyone involved with it, behind the camera, in front of the camera, you know, and everything is deceased. That is really, really bizarre. You know what? I'm kind of impressed. It kind of looks pretty fluid. And I didn't really know what to expect. Look at that. Jab to the face and got a shot fired. Look at the outfits. Oh my God, this is crazy how old this is. Especially the women, right? They just look so different. Their style and all that. I'm impressed. I gotta say, I'm impressed at how relatively smooth it is. I know that maybe that sounds weird to you. I don't know. I mean, you see like the grains, like the grainy look there, which is normal, especially in old film. But I gotta say, I mean, there's some choppy movements, but it's actually kind of cool. I mean, it's kind of legit, right? This is the first feature-length film. This was very impressive in its day, I'm sure. And to think that we can thank Australia for it. Wow. Look at this building here. It looks pretty windy, doesn't it? Pretty windy, it looks like. Look at those boots. Wow. This is just so wild to be living in 2021 and see these people walking around in 1906. This is just wild, man. You know, it's funny seeing everyone in hats, right? Everyone's got a hat. A lot of people, you know, have like the whole dressed up look going on. Everyone's got boots. You know, everyone's dressed up, right? It's funny nowadays. You look at the style difference, right? A lot of people are barely dressed. I mean, you see people in bikinis and just shorts, or you see, you know, people in flip flops or thongs, as you would say. You know, whatever hat of choice they have, but you know, not everyone, right? Maybe one out of a few people, and you know, just t-shirts and jeans and all these different things. It's weird. Not a lot of people dress up like this to go out and about every day. It's just so weird. Everything's so different in a matter of, on the big scale, I mean, no time. I mean, this is only 100 years or so, right? It is truly bizarre how much the world rapidly progressed in the 1900s and into this turn of the century, into the 2000s. And to think that they're filming, like they have a camera on a tripod, presumably, and I don't know how the crew works. I don't know who's not seen on camera that's working to make this scene happen. It's just crazy. So that's pretty much all we're going to do. We're going to see what we can find on good old Wikipedia here. As you can see, 1906 Australian bushranger film. And yeah, it follows the outlaw Ned Kelly and his gang. And yeah, this silent film ran for more than an hour with a full reel length of 1,200 meters or 4,000 feet. And as we saw, now we have far less than that left. And it premiered on December 26th, wow, the day after Christmas, in 1906. So I just missed the anniversary for that. That would have been cool. Then it was first shown in the United Kingdom, not until January 1908. Wow, almost a year and change later. That is bizarre, isn't it? Wow. And as of last year, 2020, approximately 17 minutes of the original film are known to have survived, have undergone restoration for theatrical and home video releases. No kidding. And kind of interesting, if we scroll down to the cast here, you know, it shows like some of the cast, presumably, but then it also says in memoirs that Walla Tate claimed that part of the Ned was played by a Canadian stunt actor who deserted the project partway through. And a 1944 article said the actors came from Cole's Dramatic Company. This article claims the Tates were not in the film. That's really weird. And something really interesting is the actor that was portraying Ned Kelly in the film actually had, I should say, an authentic suit of the Kelly gang's armor, which was loaned to the filmmakers and used in the film. That's really lucky. That's really interesting as well. It makes you wonder, right? It's just so long ago, and there's really, before this, there's no such thing as an hour-long feature-length film. How do they get this going? How do they dream this up and make it happen, right, when there's just no template to do it, right? It's pretty mind-blowing. How do they find people to make it happen, actors and crew people? And how's it work? What's the budget, right? Who pays for it? And, you know, to answer my own questions, I mean, down here it says it was around 1,000, I think, is that pounds? That would have been before Australian dollars, I suppose. So, I mean, that's not much money, but then back then it probably was a lot of money. I don't know, right? And it took 6 months. I mean, it took 6 months to film it. And I mean, that's pretty on par with some movies, right? Some movies take 6 months to a year, I believe, to film nowadays. Of course, they're more involved nowadays and stuff, but it is kind of mind-blowing that they worked on this for a long time, right? And I mean, I guess they picked some actors based on theater experience, right? I suppose that makes sense. How did it work employing them? Doesn't it make you wonder, like, how much they got paid? You know, was it worth their time? You know, stuff like that, right? And then finally, if we scroll down to the bottom, you can see how many Ned Kelly films there has been. There's been a lot. The Kelly Gang, again, in 1920. And as you can see, almost like every decade, it seemed like there was some sort of Ned Kelly movie. So there you have it, guys. Kind of a bizarre video but a great travel back in time. I hope you enjoyed it. Was a little different, but it was very interesting. And I can't believe, like, just watching film from back then. It is a shame that most of it has been lost. But I mean, that's a long time ago. And yeah, I imagine, I don't know. I mean, this might be hard to preserve. I'm not really sure. So I encourage you to comment down below. Tell me what you thought of this, and what you know about early movies. Really bizarre, really interesting. And of course, if you have good videos I can look at and learn about on YouTube here about Ned Kelly, you can go ahead and leave me those as well. Appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you being here. Throw a thumbs up on there. For the old days, Australia getting it done before Hollywood and anyone else. Very impressive. And of course, subscribe for more stuff like this. Check out the description for this the original movie. And otherwise, you can support my channel. My name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker. Until next time, guys, take care.